Okay, Nanny, who are you?
My name is Rhonda Jones. I am Puppet's nanny.
Okay, and how old are you?
I'm 62 years old.
Okay, so I'm going to be asking you 10 questions.
Great, I'm good at questions.
Okay, so growing up, what were some fads you remember? Hairstyles, clothing, and dance.
Like everybody wore, it was the hippie age, so we all wore our hair parted down the middle and really, really long. We just kept growing it out long. And Super Bell Levi's, absolutely love, platform shoes, and then like hippie type tops, peasant tops, things like that.
Okay, so
We wore tight clothes.
tell us some of the dances that went on.
Okay, a lot of the dances were because dance fades would go really quick, kind of like how TikTok goes. And so, like, they had the monkey, the football, like a shuffle, that's still around. The twist, like that kind of stuff.
And which one was your favorite?
My favorite one was the Dirty Dog, which was a lot like twerking.
Okay, so tell us a story about your dances or.
Okay, on the dances, they used to have these things where they call garage parties, and people would different kids on the weekends, they would ask their parents if they could have a party, so everyone would go to their garage, and they would play music, and we would dance.
And how long did that last?
We did that all the way, because we probably started doing that in 3rd or 4th grade. I mean, we were really little, and then at 6th grade, they started school dances, so then we'd go to school dances.
Okay.
And do I tell about how I danced with everybody?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and I danced all the time because I love to dance.
I need you to give this to Scarlett.
Okay.
So we're doing
because my daddy told us, me and my sisters, that we weren't allowed to tell a boy no when he came up to ask us to dance because it took a lot of courage to ask us. So I danced with everybody. And so even the kids that, were kind of, I don't want to say nerdy, but unpopular, like really shy and awkward. Yeah. And I even had one try to pay me when I finished dancing with him, and I told him no, that I loved to dance. And then when all those kids found out that I would dance with them, I got to dance all night because they would keep asking me.
So you were a cool person.
I wanted to be nice to everybody.
Yeah. How do you want to be remembered and why?
I want to be remembered as the funnest mom and the funnest nanny, and also I want to be remembered more for being really funny, because funny is what we're kind of known for in our family, being funny. So most people would say that that's the thing I like to be, funny and nice.
So what do you want us to never say about you, or just
that I was ever mean to people, or that I would go out of my way to not be kind. What was it? Is that it? Or what I don't want you guys to do, or what I don't, or we're not there yet.
You can still say it.
Okay, yeah, and that's with you guys. I want you guys to be like my daddy told me to be, which is be kind to everybody. When, do I get to talk about high school? In high school, they had our mascot in Livermore High was the Cowboys, and so we had a place that was called Cowboy Alley. That's where I hung out the most, and that's where you could cruise and burn off tires and stuff. And then they had School Street, which was where people smoked and did stuff. And then the quad was where all the popular and the football, cheerleaders, stuff like that. And then they had another part that was where the really smart people were. And I could go any of those places because I was friends with everybody.
And she didn't smoke.
And no, I didn't smoke.
Okay, yeah. You were a good kid.
I was a good kid, but I did burn my husband. Well, he wasn't my husband at the time. He was just my boyfriend. But he taught me how to chirp the tires, so I did that after I learned to get my license.
Okay. If money and or time was not an object, what would you want to do?
If money or what?
Money or time wasn't existent.
Oh my gosh.
Nanny,
Thanks. We would live. We live in Hebrew Springs, and we would have a big house, and all you kids would have houses up there too, and we'd come to Nanny's house, and we would live by the cliffs, and we'd just swim all the time.
So, like, where would you like to go, like, all the time?
Heber Springs, where we went camping.
Or, like, around the world or something?
Around
or
the
just
world.
anywhere.
Oh, like if I could go someplace I've never
Yeah,
been before.
anywhere.
Okay, I would probably want to go to Ireland.
Okay, why?
Scotland, Ireland. Scotland, or probably Scotland, because I like castles. I'd love to go to stay in a castle.
Oh, okay.
What about
And
Disney?
who would all be there?
All of you guys. I mean, my kids, my grandkids, we all go on vacation together.
And
What
how
about
would
Disney
you...
World?
Because you guys would probably have to help me up the castle stairs because I'm old.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And how would you... So is that how would you would like to spend your days? Like, what stuff that would you would just love to do?
I love to do anything with my family. Anything. Like, I love it when we're just together and having food fights and getting each other crazy.
Yeah.
Dumping flour on your head.
That is fun.
That is fun. Those are
Okay.
memories.
And what's something you could never get bored of? Just like one like specific thing.
If we're not counting being with family,
Yeah.
seriously, TV. I'm addicted to TV. I'm addicted to like Real Housewives, like crappy reality TV. I'm addicted to it. Sorry, teachers.
What was one of your favorite memories in your younger years that make you want to go back?
This is where Nanny has to clean it up. My favorite memories is me and my sisters. My daddy, we all lived together, and we lived near a place where people kept horses, stables, right? And me and my sisters would go down there and just get on random horses and ride around bareback. And that was really fun.
Okay.
And things with my daddy, anything with my daddy was fun.
What's like one specific day that you remember and you'll never ever forget?
Oh my gosh. That's hard. That's so super hard because I remember when all my kids were born and when you kids were born.
How about like whenever you were just like in your teenage years?
Oh, my teenage years cruise on Friday and Saturday nights. We cruise because $5 would fill up a tank of gas, and we just cruise, and then we'd stop and we'd sit on the car and we'd watch other people cruise, or we'd go to the drive-in and everybody wouldn't even watch the movie. They'd all go to the drive-in and then they'd get out and we just walk around and visit people and people.
So what made those days so enjoyable?
Because you could just do anything. There was, no rules.
No limits.
Yeah, no limits.
Oh, I wish I lived back
Right?
then.
And people would drive by and say, there's a party on May Street Road, which is a road that kind of dead-ended way out in the country. And so while you're cruising, if someone had like money and bought stuff, then everybody would just go out there and party. And it would just be fun because you'd just be walking around partying and visiting with everybody and watching girls get drunk and fall down. It was fun and cry.
Did you ever just, I don't know how to say it, like...
Well, I never drank or anything, but I mean, I had fun, almost more fun, not because I get to watch them, like I said, fall down and be stupid. And even though I'm nice, I did make fun of them.
So, would you ever want to do something different back then? Or
No. My teenage years were perfect.
How would I make my teenagers like that? With everything going on nowadays.
It would be hard because times are different. You can't, like cruising, they don't let you cruise anymore. A cop would pull you over. In our day, they didn't. Cruising was what you did. And like going to someone's house and having a party, the cops wouldn't break it up because, people, they just didn't in those days. And you could just, there was not as many rules or as many dangers as there is now. You know what I mean? Because drugs wasn't a big thing. Just people drank, So it was just free. And like I said, his daddy, right? We would go out. There's like I said, that place that's May Street. It was a long, long stretch, right? So people would go out to the end of that and party. But because it was a long stretch, people would race cars. Which isn't safe, but that's what he do. And his daddy liked to race car because our car was a Humpty, but it was fast.
Did you ever go in the car with them or no?
Always.
Always? Were you
in the
ever
car.
scared?
No.
You just always felt safe?
Yeah. Because it was fun. It was
Yeah.
fun.
Dang. Who is the person that influenced your life the most?
My daddy.
Okay, so how did he influence you? How did he teach you?
My mom left when we were little, but before that she wasn't really a good one. And he took care of us always. I mean, he's the one that did everything. And for a lot of years it was just him and me and my two sisters that are just 1 year, And he would do everything, like the weekends, after school. I mean, everything. He was with us 24/7, and he's the one that always told us that nobody would come before us. Not a wife, not anybody. We come first, and that's.
So were you ever scared of telling him anything, or were you just telling him everything?
No. This is the thing. No teenager tells their parents everything. They think they're going to tell them everything, but then there's stuff that they don't, just because they don't want to disappoint their parents and stuff. So that's why they kind of keep it a secret. But when he would find out, because parents usually do find out, he would never, he never spanked us. He never did. He would talk to us, which would make us cry. But he always loved us through any bad thing we ever did, even as adults.
So who's probably who else was always there by your side, like a friend?
My grandma.
Or
my best friend Lori Newton. We became best friends in 2nd grade, and we were best friends all the way through high school. And I quit school to get married, of course, which is don't ever do that. And she's the one. Her and her boyfriend, Bob, was They got together on a Friday, and they decided then that they were going to introduce me to what became my boyfriend and then my husband on that Monday. And when we met, we were together ever since.
Are you still in touch with her?
Lori, no. But the thing is we were really still close, years after, when we both, went our separate ways and lived in different towns. When something bad, I don't know if I talk about Uncle Mike, but when that thing happened with Uncle Mike, and I went back out to California, she was right there by my side the whole time. She came and stayed and took care of me, and we were both 34 then, so we'd been friends since we were 6 or 7. And, yeah.
And so what about your grandma?
My grandma was the woman I loved most in the world growing up. She didn't drive a car. She was real quiet, but I could make her laugh. She's the reason I am funny, is I would do accents for her, pretend I was from, and I would grab her apron and pretend I was crying, and then I would pretend I was blowing my nose on her apron, and she would just laugh and swat me away. So my whole life was to make her happy.
And how old was she whenever you started trying this?
Oh, always. Like I said, my other mom, she wasn't a caretaker type woman, and so we were always at my grandma's. And then when my mom left, my grandma and grandpa moved in with us, and so she was probably the most influential. She never once said, "Wait a minute," you know what I mean? If you wanted to talk to her, so she really, and I was her favorite. I'm the oldest granddaughter, and I was her favorite.
Yeah.
No matter what Aunt Sandy would say. Of course she would tell me that, but also I just knew.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then my daddy, they showed home movies, because she died when I was 21. It was really hard. Daddy was just 6 months old. And when every home movie, no matter where my grandma is, I'm standing right next to her. All the home movies. I never left her side. Wherever we went to family things, I stayed right with her.
So she was really important.
She's the most important. Her and my daddy.
You and your dad.
Yeah.
And
which is his mom, my daddy's mom.
Oh, okay. Is there anything you regret not having asked your parents?
That I regret? No. Regret not asking them?
Yeah.
No, because because my daddy he was raising little girls. Like for Christmas, we get a baseball mitt and a ball, and so every once in a while he tried to do something girly for us. So like he got us roller skating lessons, and we took swimming lessons, things like that he thought was girly. I mean, I wish I would have had dance lessons because I like to dance so much. But
did you ever tell him that you wanted something else, or just you were just happy?
I was just happy to be with him. So yeah.
So there is one word to describe your dad. What would it be?
I would say perfect, but I know that I'm totally not supposed to say that. But
No, you can say anything.
Perfect. He's perfect.
And what was something that really stood out to you that made him perfect?
He hugged us all the time. He told us he loved us all the time. I mean, he told us he loved us all the time. He'd just come up behind you and kind of like grab you like Daddy does you, and he'd just say, "I love you," and he always called me little girl. He'd come in the house, and if I looked at, he'd say, "What's wrong with you, little girl? What are you pouting about, little girl?" and he'd make fun of me because there was nobody knows who Shirley Temple is anymore, but there's a Shirley Temple movies every Saturday morning, and when I watched those movies, her daddy was always the one that died or was missing or something like that, right? And I would be in there boo-hooing because I loved him so much I didn't want anything to happen to him. And when he'd come in, he'd say, "What you crying about, little girl?" And he'd make fun of me because I was crying. And now Aria makes fun of Daddy.
Yeah. See, Aria makes fun of him. I just punch him.
You're right.
What world events had the most impact on you?
Oh, world events. I would say the Vietnam War was going on when I was in high school, but it ended right as I got married. So I would have been like in the 11th grade when it ended. And so that was a big life-changing thing. But I would still say that the thing that stands out most would probably be 9/11. Probably the most.
And how did that impact your life?
It just changed the world forever. I mean,
Did you change the way you looked at the world too? Not really.
Yeah, because the thing is, living out here and stuff like that, it affects us, but it doesn't affect us. You know what I mean?
Because we
like
don't
that.
have to worry about
Right.
Okay. And did something happen in your family that really just impacted your family and people around your family?
My divorce from Daddy's dad, that affected me and my kids and him, because then we had to start sharing and different things. But it all wound up being good because I wouldn't be here with you if that wouldn't have. I wouldn't have had Aunt Dusty.
Yeah.
So all of that's really, really good. And like I would say that my grandma passing away affected all of us the most because she was such a people that held us all together. So when she passed away, everyone just kind of went their separate ways. So, but my grandpa gave me my grandma's sewing machine, and I don't even sew. And I'm the only one that got out of all the probably 20 grandkids. I'm the only one that got something in my grandma's. And my grandpa gave to me, and believe me, there was aunts and uncles trying to get that stuff, but my grandpa said he wanted me to have it, and I don't even sew.
So were there any of your siblings that also were really close to your grandma?
Yes, my sister Kathy and Sandy, they both were. If you ask Aunt Sandy, she would say she was a favorite, but that would be in her own head.
But everyone knows you were.
Yeah, everybody knows I was. Please, hello. I gave her grandbabies before she passed away. Please.
Yeah. Okay. Wait, did I already say that? Okay. What do you want? I'm just gonna skip that question. I'm gonna ask a different one.
Okay.
But what are the most important lessons you learned in life, and how did it affect you, good and bad?
Okay. The most important thing I probably learned is to not take things for granted, like thinking that you're not going to lose people, that everything's going to, like I told you how I wouldn't change my high school years, my teen years, because they were so perfect.
Yeah.
So nothing bad happened to me till my grandma passed away when I was 21, and that kind of made me realize that, something could just happen overnight and someone could be gone. And what's good and bad about that is you tend to be scared. I'm too cautious. You know, like when you guys are doing scary things, I'm always like, no, don't do that. No, don't do that. I do that. I still do that. I'm like, no, you could die. And you guys are like, no, no fear. And I'm
Yellow.
like, yeah, exactly. If I got, so leave a good looking corpse, that kind of attitude. No, no. Don't step on that crack and break your mother's back. Don't do it. But so that's how.
Okay. And so the question was, okay, so what's the question, like, what's something that happened, like, in your teenage years before you had to worry about a lot of stuff that you thought it was a terrible thing, but now that you look back at it, it was, like, funny and you don't regret it?
In my teenage, knowing I was, like I said, driving like we did and doing the stuff we did as teenagers was so much fun. And then it scares me to death that, like, Daddy, when my kids are teenagers, I know they're out doing the same thing, which is terrifying. So, I don't want to say I regret that, though, because it was really, really fun. But I can remember going to be late and worried about, breaking curfew and what that was going to mean. Because for a while, I went and lived with my mom for a little tiny bit. And they would really get mad. And so, knowing I was going to be late, I'd worry about that. But now it's funny because who cares? You know what I mean?
So what's the story? Did you ever get caught doing something bad? Well, not bad, but you weren't supposed to. That you thought was like, it was like sad for you, but now you think,
oh my gosh, the only thing I could think of is me and your grandpa. We broke up for like 24 hours, but in that 24 hours, I thought it was the end of the world. You know what I mean? I was like, when he said he wanted, because what it is, I went to a church dance, right? And I never said no to anybody that asked me to dance. And then he found out I was dancing with other boys, and he got mad and broke up with me, and I thought it was the end of the world. And then the next day at school, he's like acting like nothing happened. But I mean, I cried that whole night. It was the end of the world.
No, was your best friend there to?
Yes. To hug me and say, it's all right, he's a jerk, blah, blah, blah.
So did anything ever happen to her that you thought would be?
Yes, and it still did. I mean, she, when we were in our 20s, and she was married to Bob, and I was married to Mike, they found out that she had retinitis pigmentosus, which is eventually go black. Now she's blind. You go to tunnel vision till you can't see anymore.
She's blind now?
She's been blind for probably about 15 years. But she has like a dog, and she goes on the bus, and she wound up going to college because she's super duper smart. I mean, super.
Oh, she's
the one. Yeah, didn't even have to try. Her notes were perfect, just straight A's all the way, and I'm, flunking everything out, trying to write everything the teacher says, and missing the next thing he said because I was writing down the first thing he said. And so she went to school to become a psychiatrist for children going through what she went through. So she's super successful.
How old would she be now? Your age?
Yeah. She would now be 63.
Is she still
63? I hope I said 63, not 62.
You said 62 both times.
Okay, I lied about the age. I'm 63. I just feel 62.
Yeah.
Yeah.
1 year.
But yeah, she's 63.
Is she still with her husband?
No, we both broke up for those husbands. No, she married a guy, and she wound up having a little boy. So.
How old do you think the little boy is?
Super cute, and he's Dusty's 34, so he is 33. Because we wound up having babies almost. I was done having babies.
Did y'all ever ship them?
Huh?
Like ship Dusty and him?
No.
No.
No. Mm-mm.
I hear you talking about like I hope me and my best friend have babies at the same time.
Yeah. Well, we were excited about that, and her little boy and like Dusty. Yeah, but Dusty was always a crazy I mean, her little boy was kind of shy and stuff like her, right? And Dusty, because of having so many older siblings, was a wild woman even then. She's crazy.
Okay. So that was a question where, like, important lessons, right?
Yeah, important, yeah.
What is one piece of advice you wish you knew growing up in your teenage years / early adult years?
I wish that I knew I had more time. I was in a hurry to get married and in a hurry to have kids and in a hurry to do all of those things because I just wanted to be a wife and mother more than anything. And now I realize that I could have waited and, got married, but, done things as a couple. We had our first baby 9 months and 4 days after we got married. So we had babies right away.
So you don't regret it.
I don't regret it, but I would just tell my younger self that keep cruising, keep driving the car, keep being crazy like that instead of settling down.
Okay. So if you could tell anybody, like anybody in the world, like even if they aren't here anymore, who would it be and what would you tell them? It could be even two people that you remember.
Oh my gosh.
Mom, I want only the biscuit.
I would probably tell my grandma what she knows because I know she looks down, but I would just tell her how important the way she loved me taught me how to love my kids and how my kids love their kids just unconditionally. Because people say unconditionally, what they'll say, I love you, but that she never was. It's I love you no matter what. And I would tell her to thank her for teaching me that and showing me that. And then my daddy did it, so.
So what would you want to tell your dad?
I would tell him I wish he didn't leave. But I would tell him thank you for taking us to church and teaching us to be kind to people, more than anything. He was kind. Everybody that met him liked him because he was nice to everybody. And so I would tell him that was the best lesson that he taught was to, he was a good example to watch. So.
And if you could do one, if you could change anything about the world, what would it be and why?
I would make everybody be like I said, like my grandma, my daddy, and like I try to be, and like you guys all try to be. Just everybody be nice to everybody. There's nothing that should make you so angry that you fight with someone or get that angry. No, because we're all going to the same place. So all this other stuff is just crazy, and I wish people would act like the Lord was standing right next to him, and would you still be cussing and yelling at total strangers, and and wear the mask. That's all I would say.
And so with everything going on, today.
Yeah, division. Yeah.
What if you could tell anybody anything, or everybody something, other than just being nice people, what would it be? Just to help the environment, what would you tell them?
I would tell everybody to start taking care of everybody. You know what I mean? Like there's people that are homeless on the streets, and instead of just be like stepping over them as you go into the store, give them a blanket or which I know that there's homeless people, a lot of them have mental illnesses, but that everybody, if I could change anything, it would just be the way people treat people. That everybody should treat everybody, and every country should treat every country as nice. You know what I mean? We shouldn't be, even if people hate us, kill them with kindness.
Yeah.
Kill them with kindness.
So that's my nanny. She cares for
holiday.
She cares for everybody.
I know you do, except for those people I don't. No, I really do.
Well,
and I've talked bad about you in the past. It was just to be funny.
Yeah, it's nothing personal.
Nothing personal. I'm just being funny.
Yeah. So love you, nanny. Thank you.
I love you, puppet. Love you too.